The history of chess can be traced back only 1500 years to its earliest known predecessor. Over the centuries, the game has evolved and spread around the world, taking on various forms and variations in different cultures. Yet, despite all these changes, the essential elements of chess have remained remarkably consistent. Due to its immense complexity, chess has been considered to be way more than just a game. It has been admired as the finest art, and by some praised as an exquisite sport. Finally, it has even been assigned spiritual meaning. In recent years, with the rapid development of computers, we've experienced complete transformation in the way the game of chess is played and studied. As a consequence, we started to perceive it as something new, a science. In this movie, we'll answer the question, how AI changed chess.
Chess speaks for itself.
Let's start from the beginning, humble yet interesting. Although it is computer technology from the 19th century that enabled machines to compete in chess games, the history of chess machines started much earlier. It was already in the year 1770 when a Hungarian inventor, Wolfgang von Kempelen, built a machine resembling a Turok and a chess table that he claimed could play chess without a human hand piloting it. Of course, years later it turned out to be a hoax, as the robot was in fact piloted by a man inside the table. Nonetheless, it was the first recorded idea that the game of chess can be played by an inanimate object. Decades later, in 1912, the Al-Ajedrechista was created as a pre-computer machine that could play perfectly a chess endgame with king and rook against one king. It was the first milestone, proving that the idea is to be fulfilled. As the computers started getting better and better after World War II, their chess potential rose accordingly. In 1951, it was Dietrich Prinz who created and implemented the first computer algorithm that could find a mate in two and finish the game. 6 years later, Alex Bernstein managed to create the first chess engine that was able to play an entire game, and that marked the real beginning of the chess computers era. In the following years, grandmasters helped to improve their algorithms, and further advancement in technology led to the creation of chess engine Belly, that was the first of its kind to become a chess master. In 1968, chess master David Levy offered a $3,000 prize for a chess engine that could defeat him, and eventually was beaten by one 9 years later. A few years later, in 1980, Edward Fredkin declared that he would give a prize for an engine that could defeat a grandmaster, and $100,000 prize for one that could defeat a world champion. This created real competition between programmers. Finally, in 1996, an engine called Deep Blue was created to compete with the world champion Garry Kasparov. Initially, it was the first 6-game match, but a year later, after significant improvement in its algorithm, Deep Blue finally defeated Kasparov. Since then, it became clear that machines would undoubtedly become better at chess than humans. This unprecedented event marked the beginning of the era of mainstream use of computers in the field of chess. Although many players use chess engines on a daily basis, very few know what happens under the hood when they do it. Let's take a closer look at the mechanics of chess engines. Traditional chess engines utilize a set of handcrafted algorithms to perform two basic operations: evaluation and searching. While evaluating, the engine looks at players' position on chessboard and assigns a score to it. The various positions can be later compared based on that score. By how to evaluate the quality of chess position, a naive approach would simply count the value of those pieces, which is what chess players call material. Unfortunately, that will work at all. A rook saved in one turn might lead to getting checkmated in the next, and professional chess players often sacrifice their pieces in order to ensure better chances of winning in the long term. Evaluation functions using engines consider various other aspects of chess games, such as pawn structure, mobility of pieces, pieces left without protection, squares attacked by pieces, safety of the king and other important pieces, and many more factors. Searching is the process of generating possible moves, evaluating creative position, and choosing the best based on the outcome. One may ask, given the immense processing power of modern computers, why couldn't we just generate all possible scenarios and follow the one that leads to victory? Sadly, the number of all possible chess positions exceeds the number of atoms in the universe, so such an approach is just unfeasible. Because of that, we need to somehow reduce the amount of considered combinations. We can do this by restricting the depth of a search or its breadth. The simplest searching algorithm is called minimax, which in its basic form restricts only the depth of the search. It acts by generating all possible moves, together with its evaluation scores up to a predefined depth. You can imagine these moves organized in a tree structure. It works from the bottom up, alternating between choosing the best move for white and black player. It propagates the scores to the root of the tree, which allows for determining the best next move. This algorithm can be enhanced by various orders in order to increase its efficiency and depth of the search. One such possible enhancement is called alpha-beta priming. By restricting the breadth of the search, it can even double its depth. Its core idea is to look thoroughly into promising branches of the move tree by ignoring the obviously bad ones. If the algorithm finds a move resulting in some score, it will not follow any moves resulting in lower score. Similarly, if after some move the opponent has an unavoidable checkmate sequence, the algorithm should abandon this move immediately without considering its other possible consequences. We can further enhance our algorithm with heuristics, which allow it to use human knowledge about specific parts of the game. Heuristics enhancement can include opening book or table of possible endgames when there are a few pieces left. Many more sophisticated algorithms can be implemented, cranking up the efficiency of the engine even further. With chess engines becoming stronger and stronger, reaching far beyond the capabilities of any human, little do people know that the true AI revolution in chess was only about to come. And it did not start from the game of chess, but the game of Go. Go is an ancient strategy game originating from China. Similarly to chess, it involves two players battling with white and black pieces on a board. However, there is only one kind of piece, a stone, and in each move, players consecutively put a single stone on the board. The ultimate goal of the game is to surround a large area with your stones than the opponent. Although the rules may seem relatively simple in comparison to chess, the game is actually incredibly complex, and computer scientists for a long time had been failing to create engines strong enough to be at least a fair match for the professional players. There are two basic reasons for that. First of all, while on average there are about 30 moves possible in every chess position, the average number of possibilities in every position in Go is over 200, which makes it way more challenging for computers to calculate all relevant variations. It is mainly due to the fact that the board in Go is much larger with dimensions 19 by 19. Secondly, Go is way more abstract, therefore it is significantly harder to design a reliable system of evaluation there. And when it comes to abstraction, humans' brain had always dominated computers. But everything changed in 2014, when Google's DeepMind got interested in the game of Go and decided to start a project which aimed to create a computer program capable of competing with strongest Go players. They used a brand new approach, a neural network which was initially trained on a large number of games played by Go masters. They named it AlphaGo, and in October 2015 they organized a 5-game match between the AI and the European champion Van Hooy, in which the human player was defeated 5-0. Then the approach to training AlphaGo was changed. It started learning by playing games against itself. Ultimately, they matched it up against Go world champion Lee Sedol, and the AI won the match 4-1. This was a shocking result for all the Go players, as before the match very little people believed that computers can already be capable of defeating the strongest human players. After AlphaGo's success, the team in DeepMind started developing stronger and stronger AIs, which eventually resulted in the creation of AlphaZero. Except for being much stronger than the version of AlphaGo which defeated Lee Sedol, it was also capable of learning different games, and after dominating the world of Go, the time for chess had come. In the 2018, AlphaZero was given nothing but the rules of chess, and was left to play millions of games against itself, learning increasingly more advanced concepts from every single game it played, and become stronger and stronger with every iteration. The training took 9 hours in total, and those 9 hours must have been the most legendary hours in the history of chess. After the training was completed, the DeepMind team decided to test AlphaZero's strength by pairing it against Stockfish 8, the strongest chess engine back then, created with an enormous effort from many computer scientists and chess experts. Basically encapsulating most of the human knowledge about the game. They played 100 games, swapping colors each game. Out of those games, 72 were drawn, while the remaining 28 were all won by AlphaZero. In late 2018, a rematch was organized between those two entities. This time, Stockfish was given a stronger hardware, and the match lasted not 100 but 1000 games. Out of them, 839 were drawn, 6 were won by Stockfish, while 155 were won by AlphaZero. It was worth noting that in the match, the two engines were made to play predefined openings, and the 6 losses of AlphaZero originated from openings that it normally would not play. When looking at AlphaZero's games, one might notice that it actually has an incredible playing style, while the chess engines used to be very materialistic, not so eager to sacrifice pawns or pieces. It binds AI, which was never taught the concept of a piece value, preferred activity of the pieces, and did not hesitate when it was given an occasion to give up some material for a long-term positional compensation. In one of its most famous games, AlphaZero made a total of 8 pawn sacrifices against Stockfish, sometimes even seemingly encouraging Stockfish to take his pawns in order to open lines for the pieces, which led to the defeat of Stockfish after a long positional squeeze. This reminded the long-gone era of romantic chess, in which strong players much more eagerly sacrifice material for activity. AlphaZero introduced some new concepts both in the opening and middle game, and it has strongly influenced the playstyle of the top chess grandmasters. The release of AlphaZero was a turning point for chess computing, with many engines adapting its solutions and many new arising equipped with similar mechanisms in pursuit of copying its stunning success. But how does this new post-AlphaZero wave of chess engines differ from its predecessor? What makes AI engines special? And most importantly, what makes them superior? The core of such engines, there is a neural network model which replaces evaluation functions found in traditional engines. Its goal, apart from determining a value of some position, is to take possible next moves and assign to each of them a probability of being the best. Initially, without training, such neural network would make mostly random decisions. Just like in traditional chess engines, using only evaluation algorithm without the searching one would result in a poor performance. Using only the neural networks is not the best idea either, but this is where Monte Carlo search comes in handy. It is called policy improver because it takes neural network predictions, policy, and makes them more accurate. Monte Carlo's tree search selects one of the possible moves in expansion. Expansion means running a simulation of game assuming this move is played. During a simulation, engine uses the aforementioned neural network model to make decisions. Such a game is played up to the end, so there is no depth restriction in this algorithm. If a game results in success, a score of move initiating it is increased, otherwise it is decreased. All moves have a win ratio of simulated games associated with them. When selecting the next move to simulate the game from, it is important to keep balance between exploitation and exploration, that is, choosing moves with currently best win ratio and choosing the ones with little number of games simulated. Now, when we have a structure of an engine design, we only need to train neural network model. It is usually done with reinforcement learning, an approach which regularly provides the model with feedback about its efficiency, allowing it to adjust and improve. You can imagine that model plays a game. If it wins, it gets a reward, and its goal is to maximize the rewards. These training games could be played with humans, for example chess professionals, but actually, a much more efficient approach is to make the model play with itself. While playing a game, the network additionally records a sequence of moves played and a sequence of intermediate predictions made between moves. Then, it takes the predictions, and knowing the ultimate result of a game, adjusts the parameters of the model using many common machine learning techniques, such as mean squared error, cross entropy, and graded descent, which we will not go into the details of. All this combined made the AI approach ideal for playing chess. AI-based engines were already capable of beating traditional ones while performing 1000 times less evaluations than them. This meant that programmers were more than happy to adopt this innovative approach in their projects, and the landscape of chess engines changed out of all recognition. We already mentioned AlphaZero, the first chess engine to use reinforcement learning and self-play. Although it defeated Stockfish in a memorable match, it is hard to estimate its current capabilities because it is neither open source nor widely available. AlphaZero is another important engine. It is meant to be an open source equivalent of AlphaZero, developed using the same methods of learning. It has most likely already overcome DeepMind's AI in strength, but it is still considered to be only the second best chess engine in the world. The strongest chess AI currently in existence, the most recognizable one, and the ultimate final boss of chess has the name Stockfish 15.1 NNUE, which stands for Efficiently Updatable Neural Network. Combining the approach used in classical chess engines and the powers of modern chess engines utilizing neural networks, it reached the estimated playing strength of 3620 in FIDE chess rating, over 700 points higher than the highest rating ever achieved by a human being. This just shows how ridiculously powerful the chess engines can already be, and how large the gap is between them and mortals. Unfortunately, the development of artificial intelligence in the field of chess also means an opportunity for unethical exploitation of this powerful tool: cheating. Imagine the best chess player in the world racking his brain for hours trying to find the right move, only for a computer to dismiss it as a mistake after a few seconds of analysis. Given this discrepancy between humans and machines' capabilities, it seems very likely that on a high level, any player with just a little bit of help from an AI can crush even a world champion. These considerations, unluckily not a mere figment, are evoked by a huge drama which surfaced last year, which spanned even beyond the world of chess. An American grandmaster, Hans Niemann, clashed against the reigning world champion Magnus Carlsen and defeated him in one of the games. There would have been nothing strange about it if it hadn't been for the computer-like style and accuracy that Hans presented. Moreover, later in the tournament, after crushing another grandmaster, when asked to analyze the game, Hans was incapable of explaining his own decisions. But needless to say, aroused further suspicions. Eventually, a popular chess website decided to conduct in-depth analysis of Hans' online games and proved that in 10 of them he played all the moves exactly like a leading chess engine suggests, and that is rather unprecedented. To this day, Hans' case has not been settled, as none of the offenses has been officially proven. It might seem unbelievable, but in fact, there isn't any irrefutable proof. He can keep on claiming that he had played such brilliant moves solely by himself. That provokes a genuinely concerning thought whether in the face of universal accessibility and simple use of such a powerful tool as AI, is it even possible to disclose cheaters and ensure the integrity of rivalry? After hearing about all these incredible capabilities AI has already acquired in the field of chess, and in the face of more and more rapid development, one may ask, what about the future? Due to the influence of AI on our lives that we are already witnessing and the predictions that are made about the future, we say that AI towards evolution cannot be compared to anything previously known. And as we have already shown, it definitely has its reflection in the realm of chess. The AI-powered engines, which would have been difficult to even imagine several dozen years ago, are now a fact. Such a huge achievement makes us greedy and provokes a question: when will the next milestone be reached? And more importantly, what will the next milestone be? But there is also another, more down-to-earth question: will we ever be capable of improving our chess apparatures on such a big scale again? Since the AI-powered engines are already far better than humans, one may say that there is not much place for improvement. However, our chess tools are not flawless yet, and the power is still restricted. Imagine if it wasn't like that. That would ensure drastic consequences to the world of chess. The game could be literally solved. We would be able to determine at the starting position whether it is even possible to win the game, assuming perfect play from both sides. There's always a draw. Fascinating, yet appalling perspective. Some of the applications for AI that may be further developed in the future is imitation. The neural networks are already being taught to imitate the style of particular chess players. In these cases, they do not have to play the best moves, but rather human moves. What do I mean by that? Well, moves that seem logical to humans, who have extremely limited computational power, but instead can use intuition and common sense. With the development of neural networks in chess, it is possible that in the future it will be indistinguishable if it is player playing the game or just a smart AI pretending to be one, kind of a chess deepfake. The concerning question about human identity arises: why would we want Magnus Carlsen to play a tournament if we could just employ an AI model of him?